What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Rebuilds, where yes, we are here again with the Caprice because I bought a lot of stuff. Now, it's not all here today, so this video is going to have to be one that I kind of stitch together over the next several days. But don't worry, we're going to cover all of it in this video, including the stereo installation, the new head unit, the new 6x9s, the new 6x4s for the doors. We got the Hypertech chip, which is something I'm really excited to do today. We got to change the thermostat as well. So don't worry, we're going to cover all of this in this video, including the new rims and tires, even though for me, they're not here today. We're going to install the new front bumper so that it's not wrecked on that front corner anymore. We're going to install the new shocks. We're going to install the new Hypertech power chip. And this is the thermal, what is it? The Thermomaster. This requires a 160 degree thermostat or 165 degree thermostat, which we will be installing. And this chip, this is where the term chipped came from. Back in the day, you used to actually have a teeny tiny chip. Let me get this out of here. Look at this. This is your chip. This is the brain of these old school cars. We got the wiring harness for the radio. We got the installation kit. We got a new Pioneer head unit, which I've mentioned before. I went with the DEH S6120BS. We've got the CompuStar 7900 AS. This is a combination remote start, lock, unlock, key, or remote trunk release, alarm system, two-way paging unit. This goes, I believe it's a mile. 3,000 feet is that a mile? Half a mile, a mile. And we got our new Pioneer TS A692F 6x9s. And unlike some other channels out there that get stuff sponsored to them, we're not big enough for that yet. So I have to pay for all this stuff. This comes out of my pocket. So we're going to start with this computer. And I saved you the trouble of having to go under the kick panel and pull it out. It's pretty simple. The computer mounts in this little flimsy plastic thing here, and it just slides right up in there. It's really simple. And to get to the chip, to get to the brain of your computer, this is so complicated, guys. So complicated. You pull this cover off, and there is the brain. You want to make sure you put this in. There's a notch over here. See this notch? Same notch here. You reach under here and you pull it gently. Okay, we're going to take a screwdriver, wrong screwdriver. And we're going to gently pry on one end, very, very gently. There we go. Then we'll take our fingers and gently pry on the other end, and there you go. It just pops off just like that. There's your old chip, and here is our new Hypertech Performance chip. You just gotta, it's something that's easier done off camera. You know what I mean? Holding a camera in one hand while you're playing with chips is generally not a good idea, and that's all there is to it. Now, like I said, we do have to swap out the thermostat with a 160. So I will do that, but I'm going to do that off camera because we've already changed the thermostat once. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and back flush the cooling system with a garden hose anyway, clean out the heater core and stuff as well. And we're going to be in there doing that. But first, I want to plug in this computer and make sure the car still runs. So why don't we do that right now? All right, we got our computer mounted back up in the passenger side kick panel. Now, we're just going to make sure the car will still run. And I'm sure we've added at least 100 horsepower by chipping. Totally kidding. It probably didn't add a whole lot of power, but I'll take whatever I can get from this thing. Service engine soon light came on. That's a good sign. Fired right up, didn't it? Yes, sir. She runs. Sounds like she runs good. No hesitation, no stalling, no rough idle. Oh, fires right up now. My goodness. That's new. Typically it cranks for a while. We've got the timing set at 6 degrees before top dead center. So I've definitely adjusted the timing from 0. Yeah, she's running good. All right, so do me a favor, comment below if you've got any experience with these old bubble Caprices, these old 5.0s and 5.7s. Like I said, I've got the timing set to 6 degrees before top dead center, but I'm wondering how far can we push it safely. I'm running only 93 or 91 octane gasoline. Probably going to keep it at 91. 93 is just too expensive, and I don't think it's going to give me that much more of a performance benefit over 91. So what do you think we can get away with here? The timing mark on the engine goes up to 12 degrees. That's as far as I can see it. So tell me what you think. I figured 6 degrees was safe. With a 160 thermostat in the chip, do you think we can get away with a little more timing? Comment below and tell me what you think. Okay, next, these speakers. These are really complicated speakers. I've always hated doing GMs because of how hard they are. You got to reach back here and pop these clips off, just like this. Reach your hands around and pop these clips. Pop these clips. Oh, it's so hard. It's very, very difficult. You get that cover off, and your 6x9s are literally right here with like 4 1/4-inch screws. Let's take it out, and let's drop in a new one. Let's see what we got going on under here. Now, this comes with this weird, this weird foam surround thing, and I guess we're just going to reuse it. And I did not buy a wire harness kit for these speakers, so I'm just going to cut the wires, and I'll probably solder them. I don't know if I'll solder them or splice connectors. We'll figure it out though, but let's get this speaker out of here. All right, so as I expected, these 6x9s are going to drop right into place. We're going to go ahead, and I guess we're going to use this thing. I'm not even sure what that is or why it's there, but I guess we'll go ahead and use it since it's already here. And I'm going to end up cutting these wires, and I'm just going to solder them. I know soldering's probably like ridiculous, but I'm going to go ahead and solder them to the speaker because I don't have any of the push-on connectors, and apparently the box didn't come with any. So let's get these 6x9s in, see if they work. All right, so I'm going to start with soldering. I've already got my wires ready. There's solder on them. Just go take the soldering iron, and I'm going to get this heated up, get the solder melted onto the speaker here. And this will be the positive. Dark blue is hot, and then light blue is the negative. So let's see if we can get this wire attached here. Just like that. No? Let's try it again. It's always harder when I'm trying to film what I'm doing here, you know what I mean? There we go. There's one. Now we'll get the light blue wire on here. Add a little more solder to it when I'm done. This is just to show you guys that this is how I'm doing it exactly the way I said we were going to do it. There we go. Let that cool off for just a second. Take your fingers off. And now you got yourself a good, solid connection. And voila, just like that, we have the first speaker installed. Now time to do the second one. Then we can put the radio in. All right, so we got the new speakers in. Got to put the new radio in. Here's what the old ones look like. You guys remember these old Delcos, right? I took the cover off just for you so you could actually see what it looks like after all these years since 1993. It still looks to be in good shape. Unfortunately, the factory stereo in this car is not in good shape. It's cracking and creaking and popping, and that's a common problem with these old radios. You can generally take them out, clean with some tuner cleaner. These knobs here, take everything apart up here, you clean these out, and a lot of times that'll fix it. But I'm ready for an upgrade. So since we're already in here tearing stuff apart for the computer anyway, let's go ahead and put the new stereo in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 1993. How about that? Now, unfortunately, this stereo, I did use some tuner cleaner on it, but the right side channel never really came back. I think the amplifier may be damaged on the right side. Left side is strong, right side is not. Here's the gaping hole that we're going to put our new stereo. Unfortunately, I did not get my antenna adapter today, so I'm going to have to come back in here and do this again later, but I am going to go ahead and get this installed today. This panel up here is very brittle, or was very brittle, and it's kind of just started cracking only where the screws bolt in to the top of the dash here. Very, very brittle from being so old, but we're gonna get this done. We're gonna get we're gonna get it put back together, and you know, we'll put the front speakers in. They should be here tomorrow, so we can get the front speakers done tomorrow and get that antenna adapter put in as well. Let's get to it. As with anything that you do, when you order parts online, sometimes you get the wrong part. This is not what I ordered. Absolutely not. This doesn't fit. There's no way to make it fit, so now I've got to go see if I can find an install kit on my own. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so as you can see, we have a radio, which means this car now has Bluetooth hands-free calling. I've got the microphone for it right there. I know you can't really see it because of the light, but up there in the A-pillar is where I hid the wire, and the wire runs down the A-pillar, down the side, comes out under the dash down here and runs up over to the stereo. I actually broke the little kit, Soshi or whatever kit. It had an X on the tabs, and I thought that meant break them off. But then in tiny fine print down at the bottom, when I realized it didn't fit, it says, use the indicated brackets and hole locations. Hold on, that's not what it said. It said, right here, at the very bottom of the page in teeny tiny letters, it says, use the shaded brackets and the indicated hole locations, cut off the remaining brackets. So because it's got an X right there, I cut the part off that said X. I didn't read this teeny tiny fine print. So I ended up with a useless install kit. So what I did is I took my original factory mount off of the GM radio, and I didn't even need to modify that at all. It bolted right up to the Soshi kit, and I just used it because nothing is going to mount better than the factory stereo mounting hardware. So we now have Bluetooth, hands-free calling, Pandora, whatever else this thing's loaded with other things. We got an auxiliary input right here. We've got a USB port right here that charges as well as connects. I mean, this thing, it's Sirius XM satellite ready, but you got to buy that teeny tiny little $40 kit. If I decide to keep the car long-term and drive it constantly, I'll get Sirius put in it. But until then, I'm not going to. So now it looks like everything is bolting up nicely. It's just a matter of putting it back together. I'm excited. Let's finish this off. Then all we got to do is the rear shocks tonight and get ready for those new rims and tires. All right, boys and girls.
Good day to you.
There she is. We got the new Pioneer head unit installed. We got 2 new speakers in the back and new computer installed. So, goodness, I'm going to tidy all this up over here, get that computer mounted properly, and then I guess we can move on to the rims, shocks, and speakers. All right, so we moved right on over to the brakes, and wouldn't you know it, the brakes are actually in great shape. Look at this. I'd say there's a good 50% or so of the brakes left, and if you look right here, I don't know if you can read that, but it says Delco 241FF. Look how beautiful this brake hardware is. I mean, it's still clean. The drums are looking pretty good. Got in there with some brake clean and cleaned it up. And I mean, the springs look good. The brakes look good. Everything in there looks fine. There's no leaks. There was nothing leaking. No axle grease leaking. No brake fluid leaking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bleed the brakes back here off camera and change out these shocks. And then tomorrow the rims come in. All right, we're moving right along. The other side is done. We got the last new KYB gas adjust shock up in here right now. Right there. It's a little dark, I know, hard to see, but she's in there. And here's the old shocks. Give you an idea of how bad they were, just as bad as the fronts. Take a look at this. You should not be able to push this one-handed that easily. And as you can see, it's not coming back. It should come back on its own. To get it extended, you got to actually pull it back out. There it is, and yeah, you can see how bad this is. And both of them were equally as bad, which is why the back end bounced around so much. These shocks were not doing any good at all, absolutely nothing. They're basically a lawn ornament. Look at that. No good. Okay, time to put the back wheels on. Even though it really doesn't make sense, it's middle of the night. The tires and new rims are going to be here today, so I don't know why we're doing this, but we're going to put them back on, and I think we're going to call it a night, and I will come back and visit you guys tomorrow when we have some more stuff to do. But I want to give my brother, who's somewhere out here in the dark where we can't see him.
I'm Batman.
Where is he? There he is.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, TJ's Auto, guys.
I'm dirty.
Yeah, he's been out here helping me, and we're burning midnight oil, so
Don't look at me.
we'll catch you guys in the morning. All right, it's the next morning, and look what we got in today. Some rims. We got the front end rebuild kit from Detroit Axle. And as you can see, I couldn't wait. We put a couple of them on. We got the new bumper right here. We got the old bumper right here. Unfortunately, I shouldn't have stepped on that, huh? Unfortunately, when you're trying to find a bumper for a car that's like 30 years old. Finding one that's in perfect, pristine condition is next to impossible, at least out here. I was only able to find 2 salvage yards locally that had one. And this one had a little bit of a crunch. This is the bottom. It's upside down. Had a little crunch right here. I took my heat gun and we heated it up and we popped it out. So that should be fine. My main issue is that on this side, some of these tabs where the inner fender liner, the splash shield, I should say, goes, they're kind of broken. So I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do about that. And there's a piece broken off over here too. And that sucks. I didn't know that before they sold it to me. Anyway, let's go ahead and pull this off the car and take a look at what's going on underneath. It should just slide off, I think. We got to get this side out. It may still be held in here a little bit. Thanks to this accident, it made it a little more interesting to get out. But take a look at these wheels, man. Look at that. I think it's going to look sharp once we get the other rims on it. We'll come up in here. I'll take one more screw out just to give me a little more room to work with. There we go. Pull this out. Throw it on the ground there. Move this out of the way. We should be able to kind of finagle this bumper down just like that. And we'll pull this cover off, sit it out of the way. So as you can see, this bumper was just totally destroyed here. It's cracked all across here. It's completely cracked and broken up here all the way over. And then it was just hit real good right here on the front. And it was also hit on the other side as well. So, you know, as older people that had this car, it's kind of to be expected. Little dings and stuff. A new car, that probably would have took the front bumper off, but thankfully on an old beast like this, didn't really do too much damage. So now we check this shock. These are actually shock absorbers right here. Yeah, old school, back in the old days. Shock absorber. So when you hit something, it will compress that shock, and you just replace the shock, or you take a hammer and just bang it back out and straighten the whole thing out. But it looks like the shock is fine. So I guess we could slide the new bumper cover right back on. And just like that, she's got a new bumper. Now the bumper obviously doesn't match. It's sun faded and it needs a little bit of work. It's not the prettiest bumper. It's been scratched up pretty good. Lots of sun fade, but I'll tell you what, it's not a wrecked bumper. And that's the main thing. We're gonna get this whole car painted anyway. So the bumpers are gonna match. Everything is gonna look really good on this when we're done. So let's finish it up. Let's get these rims on and let's see what she looks like. All right, boys and girls, there she is. I guess it's a little bit too much in the shade there, huh? Maybe that's better. Hopefully you can get a good idea of what she looks like, man. That bumper fit up nicely. I think those tires and rims look really, really good. We went with a stock tire size, and I do agree with some of the Instagram comments. It does sit a little high. I drove it around the block. That didn't seem to fix it, but you know, it is what it is, man. It's still a nice car. It floats now that we got those rear shocks on, and that stage 2 performance chip, it'll actually move now. The speedometer actually, like, she'll get it for a 5 point, almost said slow, for a 5.0, man. She's actually moving on down the road now, so I like it. It's not a race car, but at least it's got some more kick to it. We got 235 7015s. These are 103Ts, General Ultimax RT43s. These are a touring tire. Date of manufacture was 03 of 19, so you don't really get any newer than that. These rims and tires, just to give you guys an idea, I think they ran about $1,200, between $1,200 and $1,300 after taxes and everything. Shipping was free. Got them from Tire Rack. No, it's not sponsored. I pay for everything with my own money. That computer chip, the Stage 2 Hypertech ThermoMaster or whatever it is, that chip was about $135. Let me tell you something. I took Tim out last night and it is well worth the money. Well worth. I mean, it gave this car like a whole new lease on life, man. That chip made a huge difference. The radio is working. The 6x9s are in. There's a front end rebuild kit we need to do. I think we're going to save that for another video, though. I think this one's getting a little long in the tooth. But, man, she's really getting there. She's getting there. We got to get the interior detail. The carpets need steam cleaned, as do the seats. But the radio, I think the install on the radio, hopefully that cleans up. There we go. I think that install came out real nice. It looks good. We just got to get the front end rebuilt, and I haven't decided if I'm going to do the rebuild on it or if I'm going to get Will out here from Williams Mobile Mechanic. I might get him out here. This isn't a hard front end to do, but guys, let me tell you something. After I've been working on this car every day, like every day, and I'm just getting a little bit burned out. So if he won't charge an arm and a leg to do the ball joints and tie rods and the center link and idler arm and all that stuff, I think I'll probably just have him come out and do it. Next, I may be using a new guy to paint. We'll see. I'm going to go talk to him, see what he thinks he can do with this thing, and see what he's going to charge. And I think that's about the next thing on the list, getting it cleaned up and getting it painted. I like it. For $300 or $375, man. Now, I don't even want to think about how much I have in it today. It ain't $375, and if I ever go to sell it, I'm definitely going to lose money on it. But that's the way it goes. You know, this one was not about making a profit. This one was, it's just for fun. We're just having fun with this build, and you know, some light, tasteful modifications. That's all. We're not worried about money on this one. So I don't know if I've got $4,000 or $5,000 into it before paint and before the interior detail, but you know, whatever it is, we won't make a dime on this car, and that's okay. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and following along with this build. We're not done yet. We got more to come, so stay tuned, but I'm just getting a little bit tired of working on this car, to be quite honest with you. And with that said, we're going to end this video. I truly appreciate all of you for watching and for making this possible, because without you viewing these videos, I wouldn't be able to do the stuff I'm doing. Like I said, none of this is sponsored content. It's all paid for out of my own pocket, and I truly appreciate all you guys and gals out there that watch and make this possible, because this car deserved a new life. You can see it's really coming together. I hope you like the mods that I've done. If you did, comment below. If you didn't, comment below. Tell me what you think. Just drop a comment down below. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe to the channel if you're not currently subscribed. I truly appreciate that. Follow me on Instagram, because you're going to see stuff like this days before you're going to actually see it on YouTube. That's Auto Auction Rebuilds on Instagram. And until next time, folks, stay safe out there. I will catch you all very soon in the next one.